When Daniel and Emily bought the old farmhouse, they thought they were buying peace. No traffic, no neighbors, no noise. Just the two of them, and the sound of the wind through the attic window. But sometimes, silence hides things that should never be found. They found it on their third day tucked away in the dusty attic. A small porcelain doll, sitting on a miniature wooden chair facing the single attic window. Its lace dress was torn and yellowed with age. One of its painted eyes was cracked, a spiderweb of fine lines across the glass. Emily laughed, a sound that seemed too loud in the quiet space, and said, "She looks like she's been waiting." Daniel smiled, but a shiver he couldn't explain traced its way down his spine. He picked it up, the porcelain cold against his skin, and set it aside with a box of old books. But when they came back the next morning to continue their work, the doll was back on the chair, its cracked eye once again staring out at the lonely fields. That night, Emily woke to the sound of footsteps above her, soft, barefoot, and slow. She assumed it was Daniel, maybe grabbing something from storage. But when she turned, he was fast asleep beside her, his breathing deep and even. Then, the whisper came. A little girl's voice, faint as a breath on a cold window pane, seeming to drift down from the ceiling. "Don't move my chair." Her blood ran cold. She slipped out of bed and crept up the stairs. The attic door, which they had firmly shut, was now ajar. And there, in the sliver of moonlight cutting through the darkness, the doll sat perfectly upright, facing the doorway, as if it had been watching her approach. A few days later, while sorting through a decrepit trunk, Daniel found a box of old letters from 1943. They belonged to a girl named Clara who had once lived in the house. Her handwriting was a delicate looping script. The last letter, dated just before her family moved away, read, "If you find my doll, please don't let her sit alone. She hates to be left in the dark." That night, a storm rolled in. The power went out, plunging the farmhouse into an unnerving blackness. And from the attic, a new sound emerged, louder than any whisper, the unmistakable scrape of a wooden chair being dragged across the floor. The next morning, Daniel, his hands trembling, took a flashlight to the attic to inspect the doll. The crack in its eye was gone. In its place was a tiny, glassy reflection that seemed to follow him as he moved, a pinprick of dark light in the porcelain face. The unease in the house deepened. Emily started talking in her sleep, repeating the same chilling phrase over and over. "She's waiting upstairs." That night, terrified, Daniel locked the attic door and wedged a chair under the knob. But by morning, the chair was pushed aside, the door was wide open, and the little wooden chair in the center of the attic was empty. When the neighbors finally checked on the house weeks later, they said it looked untouched. The mail was piling up, the grass had grown long, but everything seemed in its place. Except for one thing. In the attic, two chairs were sitting side by side, facing the window. In one of them sat the doll, its single perfect eye gazing out at the horizon, and in the other was Emily's body, her posture mirroring the doll's forever turned to face the window. The wind still blows through that attic. And sometimes, if you listen closely, you can hear a small voice whisper on the breeze, "Don't move my chair."